Whenever you're ready.
Oh my God.
Jessica! I've never been called a fox!
Dana.
That's a classy name for a Harry.
I like it classic.
Okay.
Do you?
Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast.
Sure.
Out with the bad and in with the good, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Jessica!
Dana!
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast. I am Dana Powell.
I'm Jessica Young.
And
we are here
to
rant and rave with
was
a
perfect.
cold brew. So I'm really cracked out because my husband told me that I was really off last week.
Wow. You know what? Jessica,
Yes.
I'm going to go grab a Monster and drink it because I feel like I'm fading. It's only 5:30.
Grab it. That's why I got a cold brew. Literally, I asked my neighbor, I'm like, do you want a cold brew from Blue Bottle? She goes, why? Where are you going tonight? I said, I'm about to record and I need to wake the hell up.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm. I've never had one of those.
I'm sad for you.
I've never had a Red Bull.
Did you hear that? Yeah. Great Monster. Send it.
Does it really just perk you up, or do you feel like you're having palpitations and you've just learned to deal with it?
Yeah, no, it does. It perks me up, especially if I'm not focused on it. Like if I drink one and then get busy,
Mm-hmm.
I just keep going and I don't have that feeling of like I'm
Okay.
exhausted because I just feel exhausted all the time.
Don't you feel more tired? I don't even know if we've ever talked about this on the show, but like I feel more tired the longer time goes on and the less I have things to do. I feel like I had more energy and was less tired when I was like, how do we juggle all these things? To now it's like, well, I have the whole day ahead of me. Should I take a walk now or 6 hours from now?
Oh, no. I feel like if I have one thing to do, that is my whole day. I have to focus on the one thing or I'm not going to get anything else done. Like
100%.
And actually, my friend Kira was like, well, used to Henry was in school, so you had the morning and the early afternoon to, get things done. And then I had her afterwards so that I could finish up my day and wrap up my emails and all my things. And so now that's not the case for any parent.
Right.
And it's not easy.
No, I know.
How was your week?
It was great.
It was?
It was.
Good.
I had lots of things just kind of rain down.
Nice.
I'm trying to learn. I love to worry. I don't love to worry. It's just part of my nature. Have a lot of anxiety, but I'm really trying to learn that, you know what? If I don't give all my energy to that, then things might just be okay.
Yes.
And it's seriously, a lot of it has to do with work, okay? And then just things have kind of just been falling into my lap, and I'm very grateful for that. So it was
that's wonderful.
A good week. Looks like I'll be reprising my role as Mrs. Doubtfire, doing a little babysitting in between some of my upcoming projects.
Nice.
But yeah.
That's wonderful. It's interesting that you mentioned that. My week was all right. It was pretty nice. My friend Kristen Marie, it was her pandemic birthday. We've all had one. And so I threw a little porch party just her with some Hello Kitty decorations. Yeah, it was nice. But talking about anxiety, I actually just called Jessica before. I was like, this is pre-green room dump. So maybe we won't be on the computer so long. But yeah, I did a couple of interviews last week for other podcasts. One is the Sidework podcast. If you didn't catch that, it's very fun. We dug real deep into servers and birthday songs and how people treat servers and stuff, which was interesting.
Apple buddies, I'm dying. And I love that somebody pointed that out. Well, somebody that that I just follow now because I think he's hilarious, Drew Talbert.
Yes. If you haven't checked out Drew Talbert's account, he makes these sketches where he plays all the characters.
The best.
And over time, we've gotten to learn some of these characters, like they're regular recurring characters from this quote unquote restaurant.
I love it.
and he plays every character, man and woman, and it's brilliant. And he commented on mine. He's like, Apple Buddy, I'm obsessed. And then he asked, like, took a poll on a Facebook group of servers to find out what everybody's nicknames were. The one that blew me away was for Buffalo Wild Wings, that restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So this is unofficial. This is not a corporate name, but some of those servers give themselves the name, the Buffalo Hose.
That is so gross.
So horrible. But yeah, I was like, oh yay, he got inspired by me being an Apple Buddy.
Yeah. No, I was crying when I saw that. I was already like laughing, and then I'm like, oh my God, I love that he really took
huge.
that.
You can find him on TikTok or Instagram. He just blew up. Like, he's going viral, and it's amazing because he's genuinely just the greatest guy and so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So funny. And then I did another podcast that'll be coming out next week. And that was what sent me running for the Jessicas instead of the Hills, because it was sort of a vulnerable thing. And like, I'm just going to mention it real quick because it's been heavy on my mind today. And also because we've got some stuff to talk about in this episode that we'll have to say, there's going to be some hard opinions today. So if that's a trigger, you might want to skip this episode. I don't know. But I did an interview I've talked about it before. My friend Kim Noonan has a podcast called Multiracial White Boy, and he was born in Korea, adopted, and raised in America. And he asked me if I would be on his show because something about me that a lot of people don't know is that I have a lot of Hispanic blood in me. My mama was Hispanic. My grandmother was Hispanic. And I say Hispanic because that's what I was trained to say. Our family came from Mexico. Now, did they come from Spain somewhere before that? I mean, probably. How do we all know? I don't know. But anyway, there was a lot of shame in my family surrounding that. My mama grew up with a lot of prejudice, and it was an unspoken, hidden shame. And so I told Jessica, everything I said on that podcast is true. And happened and shaped and formed who I am as a human and allowed me to, as an adult, look back and reflect on my mama's life and see how she didn't just one day become this person. Like, it was all of her life experiences that led her to the deep, I would say, sort of shame and trying to hide her own identity. But I told Jessica, and this is just me being honest and vulnerable, he posted a clip from the interview and I watched it and it felt really harsh. And that's on me, not him. Like, he chose what he chose and I said what I said because it's true. It's my experience. But I felt this sort of feeling of like, oh my God, did I betray my family by opening up about this? And like, my grandparents, specifically my grandfather, he was very racist. And that's not, everybody knows that. It wasn't a secret, in my family. However, none of us ever talked about it. It was just like, you don't say those words. You don't talk like that. We don't think like that. And I'm very proud. I guess what concerned me is I hope I made clear that I adore my family and they are good people. And the experiences that I had, one of the things we talked about, and Jessica, maybe you'll relate, is I used to get so mad, and I still do sometimes when, older generations would say, well, it was a different time. Because honestly, that's not an excuse. And I'm noticing that there are a few things now that I'm starting to say that about, and not critical things, not divisive things, but I see how you can get there as time goes on. And I know there are things we are doing and saying now that hopefully one day we will grow and realize that wasn't right. And I'm hoping that I am mindful enough to be able to say, yeah, what I said or what I did wasn't right. I have to grow. That's what life is, right? Like, continuous growth is the hope, I think. So anyway, I really struggled and like, I wanted to promote, that's what we do for each other, Pod Squad and supporting others. And so I did promote, but there were certain people that I didn't want to see it because I don't want them to be hurt. That certainly wasn't my intention. And I'm not ashamed of my heritage, even though I was raised to be quiet about it. And I know hardly anything about, Hispanic culture and the language and all of those things. But I'm really, really proud that I have parents who raised children to not align with that mindset. So anyway, it really sent a lot of anxiety through me. And it just reminded me, I know we have listeners, there's no family that's perfect, right?
No.
None.
No.
All of our families have secrets. All of our families have good and bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my friend said, well, do you regret doing the interview? And honestly, I don't, because I hope that someone can relate to my experience and my mama's experience and my grandmother's experience
Mm-hmm.
and go, oh, I have shame around things too, and I don't need to.
Totally.
It's like, I spoke about my grandmother. She revealed to me in my mid to late 30s that she hadn't been married to my mother's father, who I never met. He was never a part of our lives, and that had been a family secret, and she felt like it was something I needed to know. So I don't think I'm speaking out of school, but yet I have this like, oh God, did I betray? Mommy's recording, honey. But yes, you can go potty. Sorry about that.
Amazing.
Little lighthearted break for y'all. I live a real life. This is real home.
I love it.
But anyway, I looked at her when she told me that, and she said, other people in her family had made her be quiet about that for so long, and there was so much family secrecy around it. And there was secrecy around everything in my family, even things that I'm like, it didn't matter,
Right.
And I'm feeling guilt for revealing that side of my history. And I wish I didn't, because I looked at my grandma right dead in the eyeballs and truly meant it when I said, I'm so grateful for every mistake you made, because I would not be here.
Right.
Yep. So anyway, it was interesting to me. I called Dan Tipton for reassurance. I called Jessica for reassurance because I'm not adult enough to stand up for my own choices.
No. I don't think that at all. And honestly, I mean, I told you this and I mean it. People need to hear that. I think it's the most important thing that anyone can do, whether you are a writer or a performer, somebody who is speaking to the public in any forum, to show vulnerability and honesty. A lot of people do it, a lot of people don't.
Well, I really appreciate it, because I definitely was trained as a child, like, you don't speak about what happens behind closed doors. And to some extent, there's been so much racial tension in our country this year, the last 4 years, more than I think I've ever seen in my lifetime, like blatantly in front of my face, right?
Yep.
And it upsets me. And I think I've spoken to you before about how I used to think that being silent was being respectful, like everybody's allowed to have their own opinion.
Right.
And I don't really feel that way anymore. Sometimes I think silence is just as bad as
it's being complacent, right? It's like showing like, well, I didn't speak up about it. I mean, but I also didn't speak against it.
Correct. And it feels extra wrong for me, because how lucky am I that my mama prayed and I turned out to be so white. I have lived my life as a white person, but I posted about it. I said, never judge a book by its cover. None of us are completely white.
No.
Whatever that even means.
I know.
And I wish I knew more about my heritage, and I wish it wasn't funny jokes about like, oh, I thought it was the birthday language, but that is the reality of what built who I am today.
Totally. Is complacency the right word for it?
It's just
condoning it.
Yeah.
Silence is violence. I don't know.
Yes. I mean, honestly, like, if I disagree with something on a moral level deeply, and I don't say anything, that's just as bad as if I had said it myself, in my opinion, because it is condoning it. You're right. Being complacent is condoning that in some way, allowing it. So anyway, and I had to grow up with that, not my immediate family, but some extended family that have since passed, it was a different time. It was just accepted. That's how they're going to talk. You're not going to change them. Just leave it be. But anyway, my point is, I did this really vulnerable interview. It really touched Kim. He promoted it really heavily, and he felt like he identified with those experiences too. And I guess I also talked on there a little bit about, and I'll share this with you, that I think maybe some of the unrest I'm feeling about all of it is, well, that I feel like I betrayed family secrets or whatever, but also the guilt of knowing that just because I don't have as dark a skin as other people who are of the exact same origin as me, my life was probably easier. My life was easier than my mama's. I
mean, I'm not trying to play a pun by saying it's a different time, but it is. Well, also look at your son is growing up in a different world than you and I grew up in, right? And
Yes.
certainly almost a 180 from what our grandparents did.
For sure. Like my kid doesn't really see color. I know that sounds cliche, but we live in a very diverse neighborhood, state, like place where diversity is accepted on every level, be it your heritage, your skin color, neurodiversity, physical diversity. Like it's a little different here.
Totally.
So, which I'm very grateful for. But like my son, I hope will be better than me in the same way that I hope I've grown beyond what my mama's experience was.
Yes.
Any behaviors, I did talk a little bit about how her experience with prejudice made her a little racist. And, even in California, we do see that, the Hispanics and the Blacks do not get along. The Armenians fight with the Hispanics. Like there is interracial tension, even in a place like California.
Exactly.
And I just want better for everyone. We can be better. I know we can.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm feeling this guilt and anxiety about what I did. But anyway, it's coming out next week. So there's nothing I can do about it. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's sort of an opening into we've got some heavy conversation coming today. So you best be ready.
Yep. Better strap yourself in and grab a cold brew or a monster.
Cheers. Should I go ahead and get into the first rant?
Sure.
All right, guys, buckle in. Here we go. Rant number 1. This is from a listener.
My favorite.
I know. I don't know if I can narrow down my rants. I'm generally such a positive person, glass half full almost all the time. But here's a rant to get you started. COVID has changed me. My son had COVID while away at college. It was not fun to be so far apart from my baby, she put in quotes, while he felt so ill with a virus we know so little about. During this time, the county we live in called for youth sports competitions to be canceled. This was ages 11 and up. Not that they couldn't have practices and play with their teams, just that the competition play would be put on hold until our numbers go down. We live in a red COVID zone. This caused a huge ruckus in the area that I live in that is apparently occupied by an enormous amount of affluent white Karens.
Oh my God.
And each and every Karen banded together to protest and march to the county courthouse and in front of the county executive's home, chanting, wearing shirts that say #LetThemPlay, staging sit-ins and street closures. Also, their precious football players and dancers and soccer players could compete. Meanwhile, people are dying from COVID. People are fighting for race equality. There's gender equality, our nation's safety. California is burning, and these mamas are marching so that their kids can be allowed to play against other teams. I just can't. I just don't understand. I really don't. Okay, listener, you're talking to the right ladies because we are so on your side. Here's the thing. Here's what I do understand about the parents and the children. Some of these children are nearing the end of their educational careers, moving on to higher education, and scholarships are important. I do understand that. They are trying to find ways to get around this and help people still find ways to get on, have scholarships and things like that. But what our listener pointed out here is these people, it is more important to them that their children get to compete in competitive sports. They're still allowed to like practice and things, right?
Right.
That is more important than all of the other things she mentioned, fighting for race equality, gender equality, the nation's safety, the tensions in our country right now. Like those are the important things we need to be fighting for. We're not a political podcast. And this is why I feel okay talking about it, because you will not convince me that anything to do with COVID is politically charged. It shouldn't be.
It's not.
It should not
be. We talked about that earlier. We both know doctors and nurses and people that work in healthcare that are Democrats and Republicans.
Correct.
And they all agree that it ain't a joke.
Every single one of them. Yes. It's upsetting to me. I saw this thing the other day. Somebody posted, I don't understand, how privileged must you be if wearing a mask is the most inconvenient thing you could imagine, to the point that you refuse to do it, even when there's an ordinance. And I feel the same way about these sports. Like, why would you want to put your children in a situation that would make them more vulnerable to this virus? It is an airborne virus that we don't understand yet. We don't know what the long-term effects are. They're discovering brain abnormalities, heart abnormalities long-term. To me, there's nothing else.
Permanent lung scarring on people that have never smoked a cigarette in their life. Like,
correct. I mean, my own sister, my baby sister, lost a coworker this weekend, and they're working from home, but he was actually working at the hospital, I think. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Lost a coworker to COVID who had no pre-existing health conditions.
Yep.
None. Now, for me in my home, I want us to feel protected, and I want everyone around me to feel protected.
Yeah.
And there are some things that are important, like I'm still trying to decide, do I take my child to the dentist yet? Right?
I know.
I'm definitely not going. I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that he can compete in sports with other children. No, that is not top of the priority list for me.
I know.
And if it is on yours, you need to ask yourself why. Because I do understand scholarships and things like that. But guess what else is important in your child's life? Education. Guess what is available? Scholarships. There's always a way.
Yeah. Also, what about all the parents whose kids were going to school, either kindergarten or first grade for the first time? This was supposed to be them go. They didn't get that either. It's like
graduation.
The thing that is
prom.
irritated me the most about it. Everyone's allowed to be annoyed. Everyone's allowed to be upset, frustrated, sad, mad, every emotion and thing you can think of. However, everyone's also experiencing that. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to, and that just because people might have it worse, but
you're not alone.
Everyone, correct. That's what makes me the craziest. And I'm like, do people just not recognize that everyone is in the same boat? I should preface that with an aside that we're supposed to be in the same boat. There's a lot of people that are acting like we're not. And again, this does not mean not to live. I'm so sick of people saying, we have to get back to life. We have to live. We're all trying to do that.
We're figuring it out.
The difference is, wear a mask. Nobody's telling you now to not go and be around people, okay? But wear a mask, okay?
And also,
I just don't get it. I mean, now, you know what? As I'm saying that, we are about to be told not to see people again because so many people didn't want to listen.
Do it in the first place, yes.
And 8 months ago, when we were asked to do this, God forbid people listen at the time. If everyone had just done it, for the 3 months that at least in California, we were completely on lockdown, then we probably wouldn't be in this situation right now to the level that we are.
And I know someone shared with me from another state. This is not in California, but in another state that they had to go to an emergency room. And the way that they kept people safe, that's what we're trying to do. The people who were COVID positive were on the left side of the room, and the people who were healthy were on the right side of the room. There was no plexiglass, no separation. If you had to use the bathroom, you had to go to the left side of the room. Like this is no joke, people. This is no joke. And I'm sorry, I understand wanting to fight for children to get the fullest experience in life they can. Why don't you take that anxiety or anger that you feel about that? How about you fight to get these children out of cages and reunited with their parents that were separated from them months ago? That's something to fight for. Or in your own community. How many children don't have clothing in a women's abuse shelter? How many children are only getting meals from the school? Find the right things. I want to fight for children too. They're precious and they need us. But sports is maybe a little lower than being with their parents, than having shoes and food and clothing, than getting education. Those are the things that we need to be fighting for. Those are the things that break people, Jessica.
Yes.
They break people mentally, emotionally, all of it. They break people. Not being able to play sports is a bummer, but it's not going to break you. Being separated from your parents and living in a chain link cage, that breaks you, right? Not having your basic needs met, that breaks you.
Yes.
Not being treated equally, that breaks people. These are the things that are important. If your family is so lucky that your children get to participate in competitive sports on a regular basis, you maybe don't need to be complaining about that. Exactly. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I'm just saying you got to look at your priorities, man. You really, really do, because there's so much more going on in the world. And the fact of the matter is you could be teaching your children an important lesson, but what you're teaching your children is when they don't get their way, you throw a fit. That's not who I want my child to grow up to be.
No.
And I'm betting it's not who you want your child to grow up to be.
Also, what about the kids that are in art or theater or band or anything else? They're not getting to do that.
No.
I mean, that's like a whole nother subject entirely. And I'm so not anti-sport. I was an athlete myself when I was younger, believe it or not. But like, there's sometimes can be like a real aggro nature behind that on the part of the parents, where it's like, oh, you're really trying to live vicariously through your child. And like, now is not the time. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that, period. But now is not the time to be pulling that card.
No, you have to think, especially in times of distress, which is basically what the world is in right now. Not just us. This isn't just America.
Right.
Now, we happen to be exploding on the worst end of it because we cannot get over ourselves.
Together.
Yes. It's like, get over yourself, women who have time to go march for that, but not for equality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but your priorities are messed up. Don't pass that on to your children. Don't teach your children. If I don't get to do something, I'm going to go up there and tell them I get to do it because I said so, and I live in a free country. You know what you need to be fighting for is freedom and equality, not baseball.
I know.
Right?
Yep.
I will never understand why the survival of human life, like saving human life, is not a priority for some people until it affects them. Now, I have known people who during this past year have come around, but Jessica, do you know why they've come around? Because they lost someone.
Yep.
Why does it take us experiencing our own personal loss to care about other people? It infuriates me. Where is your compassion? Where is your empathy? Because if that's where we've come to as a human race, because I'm talking globally,
that makes
do you know what that
for
makes
a horrible society?
It makes us bugs. It makes us cockroaches. It makes us incapable of understanding. And that's shameful, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying we don't all make mistakes. I am not a perfect person, but I try to walk the walk and talk the talk. And I want to grow and be better. And I would never, ever put my own personal fun above another human life. Never. It wouldn't even cross my mind. What are you marching for? What are you marching for? When you're marching for, I want my kid to play baseball or soccer or basketball against other kids so they can prove how good they are. What is that really about?
I mean, their love of Walter Matthau and the Bad News Bears. Because their hashtag is from that movie. Let them play. Isn't that from the Bad News Bears?
Yeah, I think you're right, to be honest.
I really do. Like, I don't know if that was on purpose.
But it's just also
are the mothers our age, or is that just a happy coincidence?
I don't know, but here's
Let
what
them play. Let them play. Sheila, can you pass me another one of those rosés in a can? Thanks.
Here, how about this? Hashtag let people live. Hashtag let's not have lung damage. Hashtag let's get over this dang thing and get
we can get back to normal.
Get back to normal. I am really struggling with the fact that me and my home and my family have been masked up and have been away from our friends and have not celebrated birthdays and holidays except within our little tiny microcosm, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have done that. I've been doing it in the hopes that my family could get back to normal. Because these people and their families don't want to, my family has to do it 5 times as long.
Yep.
Screw you. You don't care about me or your own loved ones or anyone else. What the hell do you care about? I need to know.
Themselves.
That's the problem.
And I'm telling you, because when I have brought up certain issues over the last couple of years and have been met with the response, well, I'm not concerned with that, or that issue doesn't concern me, it makes me shoot lasers out of my eyes. And I say, do you not have, I mean, let's say it's about women's reproductive rights. Okay. It's one of many issues, but I'm talking about like the fact that companies didn't want to cover birth control on insurance, but they sure as hell will cover Viagra to make sure that a man can get somewhere pregnant, but don't go getting pregnant on it. I mean, it's whatever. I'm going to take a mini cleansing breath because I might lose it if we go down that rabbit hole. But my point is, that's one of 100 issues I would talk about with people, right? And to be met with that doesn't concern, I'm like, I'm sorry, you have a daughter or you have a granddaughter. For people to say that, I also shouldn't have to just say, you have a daughter, you have a granddaughter, you're married. I don't care. You have women in society. Do you not care about human beings in society? Okay?
Well, here's my thing. If you're pro-life, it's because you believe that every human life, we should try to save every human life, correct? Like that's the whole, that's their argument. We need to make sure that every human life is protected. My rebuttal to that is, then why don't you wear a mask? If every human life is important and we are supposed to do all that we can to protect it, why won't you wear a mask? I mean, it's as simple as that. And you can say, I don't believe in it. I believe it's a hoax all you want to. But when the doctors and the scientists and everyone who has spent their entire life educating themselves and being educated for this purpose disagrees with you, you might need to stop and go, am I smarter than these people who have been studying this for years? Highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely that you are the only right people. When we have how many deaths are we up to now? 290 some thousand. It's got to be more than that now. That's not fake. That's real loss. Yep. That's not made up. You can prove death.
Also, again, when it can be prevented, that's what I don't understand. It can be prevented, but by being careful. Okay, it's like everybody has to do their due diligence, and then yes, you do that for a while they're trying to figure out how to treat this, how to come up with a vaccine, not the opposite way around.
If that makes my life inconvenient for a little bit, that is worth it to me. To save people's lives, and the price is a little bit of inconvenience on my part. Are you kidding? It's not even a question.
Right.
It's not even a question. Not to mention, you're going up there around other people marching and protesting. You are actually putting yourself and your family at risk because you don't know who these other people have seen or where they've been. You're putting your trust in other people that they are healthy. Well, guess what? No one wakes up one morning and goes, I feel it. Got the COVID. Better stay home.
Right.
There's no light that goes across our forehead saying, I have COVID, stay away. People don't know until they're sick.
Well, also, I mean, a lot of people of a certain belief system have an issue with protests in general. But I will say, and I don't care if this is considered hypocritical or not, like when some of those are in question and like, well, those people are all wearing masks. I'm not saying it's fine and everybody just should be out in the streets with thousands of people and all that. No, I'm going to be honest. I don't want that for anyone because of what's going on with COVID.
Right.
But they're also not, rolling around mask free and waving their guns in the air either, which I'm not okay with under any circumstance. I am not going to say another word about this because I feel my blood boiling and I will probably say something that I regret.
we can definitely move on. It's a polarizing thing, and obviously we love to keep our show light and fun. We need that right now, but also there are times I'm grateful that this listener brought that up because it does kind of give us permission that there is somebody listening that this is important to. And if that's not you, then I guess you fast forward through this part. I don't know, but all of my frustration and anger and turning into resentment about this, that's going to have a psychological effect on me and my child. It's having a psychological effect on all of us. But more than that, it's keeping us down and from being able to heal and get past this. And it's over, I feel like, pride. Maybe there are other things in the jungle juice there. That's what we called when you bought the big cow water trough and you poured all the different liquors in there. There's a lot going on. I do understand that.
Oh my God.
And I'm not even saying I don't understand why they're not frustrated. Of course I do. But there's nothing we can do about it because life is more important. Health is more important. So anyway, listener, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Being away from your child while they're going through that, and also being at college and there were colleges that entire fraternity houses were getting sick, and the colleges just said, okay, you got to leave. Well, those children have to go home to their families.
Exactly.
Putting their families and their grandparents and their younger siblings at risk. Like, what do you do?
Uh-huh.
It's a horrible situation all around. But I guess in summary, what I would say is think about your priorities, think about what's really important, and just know that we can't get through this unless we're together.
That's right.
We can't. So we got to get on the same page. And
please let's get through this.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Seriously.
Anyway, thank you for the letter, listener. I completely understand your frustration. And I would just say, listen, we're always open to listening to other people's perspective and having a mindfulness corner. I will say you're probably not going to change my mind, because to me, the value of human life is so much more than extracurricular activities. Guess what? I don't have any. I used to be able to go perform and do silly improv, but I'm not marching about it. Let me get up there and make up characters and do voices. This is my freedom. No, it's time to stay home for a while.
Yes. Everybody misses what they did. Seriously. I was saying that a lot again this week.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about it. Of course we miss that. Everybody misses their outlet and what they got to do. So everybody got to get over themselves. Okay.
Get over yourself. You are not at the center of the picture.
No.
You are not. Think of others. Ugh, my eyes just rolled so many times in my head. And that's the thing too. People are being so obstinate. Like even patient people are losing their patience. Now, I'm not saying I'm the most patient person ever, but like there are people out there who are patient and they're losing their patience.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Love you, listener. Totally understand.
Yes.
We got to get through this. Okay.
And we hope that your son is, I'm assuming, and I don't like to assume, is recovered or is recovering.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With no long-term repercussions.
We send all the love your way. Okay. Our second rant is also from a listener. Hello, Dana and Jessica. I have a rant to share. This particular rant has surfaced because of how often it has happened lately. I will ask a particular person a specific question. It could be about something related to what's going on in the world or something completely random. The individual's response will usually be, "You didn't know?" Insert whatever question I had just asked them. Question mark, exclamation point, going on and on and on and on and on. They will continue to be so shocked that I, quote, didn't know the answer to whatever I was asking them. My cheeks start to turn red. Partially out of embarrassment because I'm wondering if this is something I should know. But then my cheeks are redder because I'm annoyed at how much of a douche they're being about it purely being about boosting their own ego. I don't know, you dingo. That's why I'm asking you. Is what I want to shout back. Taking a cleansing breath now. Smiley face.
Jessica.
Oh, man.
I have been guilty of that. I have done that to my little sisters about movies. In fact, I just did that to my sister a few days ago. She accidentally texted me and my baby sister about the ending of a movie. And she's like, "You didn't tell me that blah, 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 blah." And we were like, "We have no idea what you're talking about right now." And she's like, "Oh my God, sorry. That was meant for my boyfriend. He wanted me to watch this movie and I had never seen and blah, blah, blah." And I go, well, now you ruined the movie, because now I know you're talking about a movie and I know what movie it is. And Tiffy was like, "Yeah, and I haven't seen it." And I was like, "And I can't believe that you guys have never seen E.T. I don't understand." Well, see, we weren't allowed to watch E.T. in my home for religious reasons, which I know sounds wackadoo. We won't get into it because I'm already got my panties in a twist. But I just assumed, like, as an adult, they were like, "Yeah, I mean, at Reese's Pieces, I gotta know what E.T. is," right? They had never watched it. So I have been guilty of being the person who's like, "What do you mean you don't know that?" But I also have been the recipient of it too. So I do understand. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I admittedly, now I have done that to people, but I don't shame people. And I only do that to close friends. And when it's like okay, Dana, you're an educated woman and you're going to tell me, you've never heard of that? That's when I go crazy. You better believe if I am close with someone, oh yeah, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire about something that I'm outraged that you don't know or that you've never heard of. I walk almost daily with my neighbor. Okay. She's a close friend of mine. She is so well read, so self-educated. And I'm saying self-educated, meaning like she's just someone who continues to learn every year as life goes on. She knows a little bit about almost everything. She's like my go-to to ask a question, even before I look it up online sometimes, okay? Because she will give me a bit and I'll look it up. I'm like, oh, that bitch was right again. Okay. And it's crazy, but I'll give you a prime example. God, this is going to be one of the bougiest things I'll ever say.
I'll be the judge of that. No, I'm kidding.
I am helping design her new home. She is moving out of state. And so she has hired me to help her like design the home and pick her furniture and all that kind of stuff. So we were discussing options for a certain thing. And I was explaining flooring because I was working with an interior design client earlier this week who's picked this flooring called Pergo, which is like ceramic, right? And it's made to look like wood, but it's ceramic tiles, right? Well, there's a French word for that called faux bois. Faux, bois, bois, literally translating to fake wood. Okay. Faux being fake. Bois is the French word for wood. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like rattling off all this stuff. And I said, but it's not like those cheesy, like faux bois vinyl flooring that's obviously fit. And she's like, hold up. She's like, what the hell is faux bois? And I went nuts. That she didn't know what it was, even just for the amount of books I know that woman reads on a monthly basis. Well, I'm like, and you've never heard of faux bois? I've never heard of faux bois. She has beautiful taste. She has gorgeous, like vintage antique furniture. We went through everything in her house to decide what she's taking, what she's donating, what she's throwing out. And I'm like, and you gonna tell me you don't know what faux bois is? Okay, I am not okay with that.
The one thing I do want to say about shaming people when they don't know something, especially if they ask you, because this listener in the letter said, that's why I'm asking you. I don't know.
She's right.
Yes, because when I was young and in school, which we all know that I hate. Sorry, I have to whisper because there's little pictures. I did not ask questions because I was embarrassed of being and ashamed, right? Like I was afraid of being shamed that I didn't know something. And now as an adult, I ask 10 million questions all the time. If I don't know how to do something, the only way I'm going to learn is if I ask. Mm-hmm. So I would say that I understand that frustration of if you're asking someone and then they're like, how do you not know that? Well, it doesn't matter how I don't know that. I'm obviously aware enough to go, hey, there's something I don't know. Can you help me figure it out? Right. And that's a different situation than like, what do you mean you haven't seen ET before? Like there's a difference.
Totally.
There's a difference between the two. Don't ever be afraid to ask questions. Mm-hmm. I will play stupider than I am if I need to, just to get the information I need.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
That's one thing I always say that I do struggle within myself, that I know people consider me like this giggly clown because I'm in comedy. And I do feel like if I it gives me a license to ask questions when people think that I'm not that smart. And sometimes there's a freedom in that. Because I can figure it out easier.
So you try to use that to your advantage.
There are times in dealing with people that I know kind of think I'm dumb. Definitely, I use that.
I wish.
And guess what? At the end of the day, I get the knowledge I need and I get done what I need. And I don't care if you think I'm stupid because I'm trucking right along under the radar. And one of these days, I'm going to come out in front,
See, at the end of the day, they still think you're cute, funny, and sweet. I can't get away with that. I wish I did. I
don't think that's the case, Jessica. I think
I do.
You think I'm cute, funny, and sweet. I don't think the rest of the world thinks that.
I do. I think I was too outspoken and too opinionated from the age of 5 on that people don't. I don't have that. People are like, you should know better, or they're like, you're old enough. I'm like, but I'm 6.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even say.
Also, know better than what? You should know better than what? Because a female wanting to be aggressive, it's that old thing of like a female who's aggressive is called a bitch.
Yes.
But a male is not. They're called
a stud.
Or successful. A leader.
Sounds like a horse and a dog mating. I mean, God.
Asking questions is how we learn. So if somebody shames you for asking a question, when it really matters, like when it comes to joking around, we're just like, I can't believe it. I can't believe you haven't seen Pretty Woman, right? That kind of thing is way different than.
But you didn't know.
Yeah.
But I also think sometimes, and also this might be in the case with this listener, because I don't know how old they are, but a lot of times it's a matter of just lack of experience or, hello, I'm going to really date myself, but there's a lot of things I'll say. And then I'm like, how do you not know that? Or I'll literally say, you didn't know that? And I say it exactly in the way the listener typed it. I'm embarrassed to admit.
Right.
And then they'll look at me and they'll be like, I was born in 1985. And I'm like, hold up. So I realize, yeah, Jessica, they don't know some of this because they're 20 years younger than you.
Totally. It's like, for example, if I said to you, oh my God, I look like Gargamel today, you would know exactly what I'm talking about, right? The Smurfs.
100%.
Okay.
We by the way, spoiler alert, we called my dad Gargamel, not because he acted like him, but because my dad looks like Gargamel. We even bought him a stuffed Gargamel. It's in my dad's house to this day.
Jessica!
It's mainly because of the hair. He doesn't. It's just they had the same hair. It was like bald from the forehead down the center, and he has like the little, known as the Caesar laurel wreath of hair.
My God. Mr. Young, I need you to know, if you listen, that I did not know they called you that. I did not say Gargamel. My hair looks crazy. I look like Gargamel. My hair's crazy. I did not say that in reference to you. I had no clue. That was just a random thing I pulled out of my butt.
I'm crying.
However, if someone said to me anything about Doc McStuffins, I would not have a clue. The only person I know from Doc McStuffins is Doc McStuffins, because that's the name of the show.
I only know what you're talking about because someone I used to work with, their kid was obsessed with Doc. And I'm like, what is that? And she showed me the little veterinarian.
Yeah. I mean, we all have those things that we're like, no, this is common knowledge, but we have to remember that's generational,
Oh, God.
So we need to be careful how we're handling people when they ask us questions.
That's right. And I apologize for anybody who was ever rude to you, listener.
Yeah. Especially if it was me.
If it was or me. Oh, dear God. Or me. You never know with some of these write-ins.
Watch, somebody will be like, sorry guys, episode 34 at 20 minutes, 18 seconds. You guys were like reading a letter and said, what do you mean you don't know? Mindfulness going there. Oh, Jessica, I need a cleansing breath.
I need one too.
We like to take a cleansing breath to just sort of like fill up our lungs and blow out all the badness so we can fill up with some sillies and goodness. And I know that the top half of this show is a little long and it's a little heavy on that first letter, but I think it's important. So we'll take a cleansing breath. Feel free to scream it out if you want. Take a deep breath in. And
as we exhaled, I just looked to the side and I looked at the stack of books that I again dusted and then put there because they were like hot at the time they came out. And instead of giving them away, I'm like, I'm gonna read those. And I think I put them there 2 months ago.
Yeah. Well, you guys remember I got a bike for my birthday, right?
Oh, yeah.
I have not ridden it yet because it's still in the box in pieces.
Oh, I think part of your birthday gift can be the men in your life to put that together for you.
Well, my birthday was 3 months ago, so... Girl, I have books
I think it's time for a little DIY with Daddy and Son.
Right. In your defense, I have books that I literally bought and moved from Missouri to LA and saying I'm going to read that and still haven't read them and still won't get rid of them because I'm like, no, I'm going to read it.
Dana, 2 of them, I've already seen the movie. Actually, 3 of them have seen the movie.
Oh, wow.
3 of them.
Well.
But I'm like, but now I'm going to go back and read that book for those little nuances that maybe were missed.
Well, let me try and give you some, hey, I'll show
the
you.
Opposite.
Maybe I can give you some, hey, I'll show you energy. And I'll just say, Jessica, you're not going to read them.
You're right.
So now maybe you'll want to prove me wrong.
Maybe I can walk them over to one of the 3 little libraries in my neighborhood.
Your neighborhood libraries? Mm-hmm.
I have been putting some books in there, but these are at least great books. I mean, unlike some of the other things I purged, like Why Men Love Bitches. Yeah, I did go there and buy that before I met my husband. After I'd read every self-help, I was convinced I was going to be single for the rest of my life and never meet anyone. And
did that book help you trap Alan?
I think it did. I really think it did. No, the irony is when I finally stopped acting interested in him, he seemed more interested in me. So there's that.
Humans. Oh, humans. We're complicated. We're so complicated.
Oh my God. Okay, before I cackle us into the next year, why don't you give us our first corner?
Okay, I will. This is a what the what? Corner. I'm trying to decide, should I read the title of the article or does that ruin it?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ruins it, but go for it. Who knows? Nothing ruins anything.
This is from HuffPost, guys, Huffington Post, November 15th. Okay. Israel. That's the location. At the lowest point on Earth, in the middle of a giant salt lake where animals and plants have no chance of surviving, a jolly man dressed in red with a flowing white beard stuck a Christmas tree in the ground and went for a swim. Santa Claus came to the Dead Sea on Sunday ahead of the Christmas season, part of a campaign by Israel's tourism ministry to bring some Christmas cheer during a global pandemic that has kept Christian pilgrims away from the Holy Land. He rode a paddleboard a few hundred meters or yards offshore to a spot where salt has piled up in a massive mushroom shape, allowing him to stand in the middle of the otherwise much deeper lake. With pomp and circumstance, he stuck a decorated Christmas tree in the salty bottom, struck a pose for cameras, and then enjoyed an effortless float in the Dead Sea's famous saline-rich waters. Beyond the compelling landscape, Christianity has roots in the Dead Sea, whose surroundings are abundant with remains of ancient Christian communities. The Christmas tree, however, had no chance of surviving in the salty waters, and Santa took it with him when he returned to shore. Now, you guys know that I went to the salt.
Israel?
No. The salt lakes up in California here, right?
I swear I thought about you going to the Salton Sea because of this.
My dad and I went to the Salton Sea, and I'm going to tell you, it stinks so hard that it burns you. Like the inside of your nose can burn because nothing can survive in the water. So it's just like dead and stagnant. And at least that's how Salton Sea is. And I would imagine the Dead Sea has got to be worse.
Well, does the Salton Sea still have liquid? I'm not trying to be dumb.
Yes,
is it dried up? Oh, it does.
That's what's surprising to me too. It's a 345-mile lake.
What?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was complete. Like the pictures I saw that you guys, I'm like, oh, I know it's a huge area, but I thought it was all dried up like a gray desert.
That's what we thought too. We were like, what the heck?
Oh.
Yeah. So
here's the thing though. Nobody gets in that Salton Sea.
Lord, no.
People get in the Dead Sea. It's very clear water. I mean, it's not like dark.
Nothing can survive in it, but it's not dirty. It's not like there's not like death in it.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't think so. You know what? If the Reagan Library was open, we could try to see that Dead Sea Scroll exhibit.
Or if the internet were. We could just look it up. Somebody will correct us if we're wrong.
You can float in it. Like if you go to the Dead Sea, just like that Santa is floating around. Like it requires nothing. I mean, the buoyancy.
Salt water. Yeah, but it's not stinky.
I don't believe. You know what? Does the Dead Sea smell? Boy.
I just don't see a need. Like if I want to have some jolly goodness, I'll like find a fake fire to put on my TV and play some Christmas songs. I don't know that I need a Santa putting a tree in a lake or in the Dead Sea to help me. Okay.
Okay, Dana. First thing that comes up in my search.
Yeah.
Contrary to what you might assume, the Dead Sea is not stinky. While the mud surrounding the sea might smell a bit earthy, the water itself smells nice and clean.
Interesting. So that's a different experience.
How long can you swim in the Dead Sea? Don't stay in the water longer than 10 to 15 minutes. Because of the salts and minerals, your skin will get very soft and you can get cut on the crystals easily.
Wow.
Ew. Because the salt's probably all crystallized and it's probably sharp as hell.
I know, but I really want soft skin. Oh, what a dilemma.
Is it good for your hair? It is, because it has a lot of calcium. Well, I'm going to have to do some deep diving on the Dead Sea. Maybe those kiosks in the mall had something after all.
Oh, my. Well, it's a cute story. I don't know.
Why didn't he bring an artificial tree and leave it there?
Because that's littering?
I mean, he could take it down on what? Alan's going to correct me. January 6th? Is that the Epiphany?
Oh, I don't know. I take my tree down in February usually.
You know what? Great. Alan will not allow it to come down until January 6th, which is the Epiphany for Catholics.
Fast.
Well, I mean, but like, I'm the one who's like, can't we just have cheer year round?
Yes.
But admittedly, like on January 1st, I'm like, I want all of this to go.
I don't understand how that promoted tourism, Jessica.
You know what? I really don't know either.
Well,
but they said, no, I think because there's usually so many, it's a place that Jews and Christians and Muslims, I mean, people from all around the world go to, but there's specifically, like, I remember being shocked that one of my dearest friends from college, her grandmother was a very religious woman, and she went with her church group to Israel. And I'm like, excuse me? A woman that goes to Church of Christ in Alabama? What am I missing here? And she was like, Jessica, it's as important to Christians as it is to Jews. I'm like, oh, duh. Like, I'm forgetting about Bethlehem and Jesus' birthplace and all that stuff. So anyways, when her grandmother passed, her mom sent me a menorah that she got in Israel. And she said, don't ask me what a little old woman from Alabama and Church of Christ was doing with one of these, but we thought that you should have it. Now, bless her heart, I'm the only Jew. I'm the only Jewish person that they know. And I love it. And guess what? I put it out every year. I always send my friend Erica a picture every year because I do have several menorahs. I put her granny's little menorah, which is not the kind we use for Hanukkah. I put it out in her honor because I'm like,
I love that.
It only has 6 arms when it should have 8, but you know what? Who's counting?
I didn't know that. Why was it made wrong?
Because there's like a menorah, which can be used, I guess, year round.
Okay.
And then there's a Hanukkah, which is the menorah that has 8 candles plus 1, which the 1 is the shamus, and that's the main candle you use to light the others.
Wow.
So the one she had, I think, I don't know. She got it on her church trip. I imagine it was at some kind of bazaar. But with, I don't know.
Very interesting. Hey.
But it was not like one that you would give someone for Hanukkah, so.
The more you know.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. We're still learning at our old bag ages.
That's right.
We're still learning new things.
Old bag ages.
What's your corner?
God. My corner is about Belgian racing pigeons, Dana. I didn't even know that was a thing. Did you?
No. Oh, no.
I didn't know that people raced pigeons, okay? I know that people race hermit crabs in Sanibel Island, Florida at that dump we stayed at when I was a kid.
That sounds fun. It sounds fun to me. I did know that there were pigeon races for sure, but I didn't know that there were Belgian pigeons, just like there are Belgian waffles.
I hope they taste like chocolate.
With the pigeons?
You know what? The Belgians gave us like 4 of the greatest gifts to food kind. They gave us chocolat. Maybe they didn't invent it, but Belgian chocolate is amazing. Belgian waffles. There's nothing like it. The Liège waffles with the pearls of sugar that caramelize.
Beer. Belgian beer.
Okay, you just made number 5, Belgian beer, probably the greatest beer, in my humble opinion, made in the world.
Lovely.
And that's thanks to the monks. They also gave us moule and frite. They gave us mussels and they gave us French fries.
I love French fries.
I don't know what they called them in Belgium.
So they weren't French?
They speak French in Belgium, so. But have you ever had Belgian fries? It's like, okay, so there's a couple of places in town that do it. It's a real thing and it's how they're cooked. They're like flash fried really quick to pull all the moisture out. And then they're done another dunk in the fryer to make them really crisp. They're incredible.
You're going to get mad at me.
What?
I loves me a soggy fry.
What?
Yeah, I like a lot. Not cold, like a hot, soft one. Like that.
You know what? I'm fine with that as long as it's hot. Like I just can't handle it.
A crinkle cut that's real soft.
Yes. Yeah. No, I like that too. I like any kind of, I like cold potatoes if it's a potato salad, but any kind of French fry, I've never met one that I haven't liked except for Burger King's. Ew. Ugh, the worst.
Well, agree to disagree. Please continue.
Belgian racing pigeon flies past record in auction. A 2-year-old Belgian racing pigeon called New Kim has a set world record after being sold for $1.89 million at an auction this past weekend. I'm going to repeat that.
The bird was sold.
2-year-old pigeon, racing pigeon, Belgian racing pigeon, was sold for $1.89 million at an auction this weekend, Dana.
Oh my God. Why? Does it lay golden eggs?
I mean, we're going to find out.
Okay.
Also, I don't understand why his name is New Kim. It's literally 2 words, N-E-W and then K-I-M. New Kim set a world record of 1.6 million euros at an auction that ended on Sunday. Offers for the pigeon had already hit 1.32 million euros in the past week, surpassing the previous record, blah, blah.
What?
These record prices are unbelievable because this is a female. Armando was a male. Usually a male is worth more than a female. Huh? Sound familiar?
Oh boy.
Because it can produce more offspring.
Well, I mean, it takes 2 to tango.
Thank you. Okay. That's according to Nicolas Geiselbrecht, CEO and founder of Pippa.
Pippa.
P-I-P-A. I don't know what Pippa is.
Okay.
Geiselbrecht said New Kim was only 2 years old and only raced in 2018, earning the title of Best Young Bird. Is this a joke? Best Young Bird in Belgium and prompting an early retirement. I cannot. Pigeons can typically breed until 10 or so. So New Kim has many years of chicks ahead. So it's like a stud fee with a horse. That's where
pigeon.
I need to see like how big the pigeon racing underground or above ground is in Belgium. This sounds like horse racing.
It's so crazy to me. Because I won't buy certain kinds of plants or get a saltwater aquarium because I'm like, what if I spend $49 on something and kill it?
Okay. Okay, you guys, also, this is apparently a worldwide phenomenon. I thought, okay, this is within Belgium and it's people that live in Belgium bidding on it. Bidding started at 200 euros. So again, it started at 200, went up into the millions. Started at 200 euros on November 2nd, but rose to a bid of 1.3 million euros from a South African group within 90 minutes.
Oh my God.
Then 2 wealthy Chinese collectors fought it out on Sunday.
Wow.
So these are people from different continents fighting over this bird, right?
Jessica, do we need to get in the pigeon business?
I mean, you know what? Maybe Mike Tyson knew something after.
I guess so.
You guys, I cannot handle. I'm going to read you the last paragraph of this because I just can't deal with it. So you have, it's okay. Geiselbrecht said no other country has such a high concentration of pigeon enthusiasts as Belgium. So you have 20,000 pigeon fanciers. Fanciers? Fanciers. I don't know what this word is, people. In a very small country competing with each other on a very high level. It's like the Champions League, he said, referring to European soccer's elite club competition. You know what, guys, Albrecht? You need to take a hike. This is absurd.
Well, I just don't know what to say about it because I feel like generally speaking, most people are like, no, pigeons are like the rats of the sky.
Flying
Am I wrong? Yeah.
Flying rats, yes.
Because they're generally considered dirty and whatever. But I know somebody that raises pigeons, not a close personal friend, but like a friend's dad raises pigeons and different kinds of birds. I mean, I guess there's that world.
Hey, my granny used to get pigeon. They got it from the butcher. It was, they used a fancier word, I guess, to make it sound better. They called
What was the word?
Squab.
Oh, I've heard that.
But that was like a big thing. Like my grandmother was like, yeah, that's the kind of food people ate at that time.
Can you imagine, like, what if your grandmother ate Nukem? What?
Oh my God. Was it kosher kilt? I mean, that's going to make a big difference. By the way, no one in my family is kosher, and my grandmother never spoke like that. She grew up in Montreal and actually had zero accent and was a very woke woman until her last day. I don't know why I made you sound like that, Granny.
Oh, sorry, Granny. Sorry, Granny.
Oh my God.
Man, that's so crazy. I mean, what kind of money do you have to throw away that you can buy a $1.2 million pigeon?
I mean, again, that kind like those kind of crazy prices, that happens again with horses, male horses, for a stud fee because they think, oh, this horse is a champion, so his offspring surely will be too.
Right, for sure.
And that's not the kid. Like, there's people that maybe aren't the brightest bulbs that have children that go on to be researchers or scientists or engineers, like doctors.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You could have brilliant parents.
You cannot predict genetics. I remember I grew up with these two twins and everybody was always blown away because they were so good looking. I mean, so handsome. And their parents
were not.
No. So you can't count on genetics. It's
crazy, right? You really can't.
That's incredible.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, let's move on into something very positive and lovely. A little section of our show we like to call our raves.
Yes.
Okay, so rave number 1. This is from a listener. Hi, Dana and Jessica. First, love you both. Oh, we love you too.
Yeah.
I want to be in California and be in the green room dump pre-COVID.
I know.
Gosh, those porch green room dumps.
We laughed, we cried. It was better than cats.
Yes. Second, this podcast is the highlight of my week every week. I bust out laughing out loud. Well, I hope this episode makes her laugh because it got a little tense. Okay. I relate to you both so much. Your rants are spot on and resonate with me weekly. I could seriously email you with feedback each week. Third, as the director of a nonprofit, your podcast is doing so much good. Oh, I love that. I love that I can listen and laugh and enjoy, and then I get hit with a dose of how can I make the world better at the end of your show. It is perfection. Oh my gosh, that's
so nice.
Awesome.
That really got me when I read that.
I love that. Fourth, I heard my husband singing "Weirdo of the Week" song last week to our son. Yes, that makes me so happy. I love it. So she sent us a rave and said it was self-promotion. Good for you. You guys.
Yes.
That's what we want. That's what we're asking.
Yes.
You hit us up and promote your stuff because we want to get the word out there. Okay. Yes. So this is Lindbergh Schools Foundation. The Lindbergh Schools Foundation is an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting Lindbergh Schools' commitment to excellence in all facets of education. Now, before I move on to the mission, I just want to drop a little bit of trivia. Lindbergh is Dan Tipton's alma mater.
Oh.
That's where Dan Tipton went to high school.
And where he was honored.
And he was honored as distinguished alumni. That's correct.
That's lovely.
Our mission: 1, endow and administer funds that award scholarships to Lindbergh High School students. 2, support programs and projects in the Lindbergh schools that enhance the educational experience for students. And 3, strengthen the bond between the Lindbergh schools, their alumni, and the Lindbergh community. Right now, in the Lindbergh School Foundation, we're implementing a rolling teacher grant program. I put together this video commercial of sorts that will be part of our landing page where people will be able to donate. I am not an actress, she said. I'm not used to being on camera. I've never used this video editing software before. I shot all the video myself. Clearly, it's so rough. I did the voiceovers, I shot the photos, and I edited it all together. Please don't laugh too hard when you watch it. My board members are thrilled with it, but I know I could have done so much better. I hope it gets the message across of what we're doing right now, and I'd love for you to share some info about it if you think your listeners would be interested. Absolutely. And also, can I say, so we have the video. Should I go ahead and play it?
Sure.
I just want to say real quick, we'll play some of it at least, but I just want to say real quick, I love that last paragraph. I'm not an actress. I'm not used to being on camera. Look at how many things this person overcame to do good for others. You do not have to clarify anything to me. I think what you're doing is incredible, and all the more so because it's not something you normally do.
100%.
I think it's amazing. So, okay, let me pull up the video here.
By the way, while it's pulling up, is Lindbergh a private school? Is it a school system?
No,
is it a township?
High school. It's a township. Yeah.
Okay.
It would be in a township.
Hi, I'm Erica Keating, Director of the Lindbergh Schools Foundation. Not only do I have the great pleasure of working for Lindbergh Schools, but I'm a Lindbergh graduate, married to a Lindbergh grad, raising Lindbergh kids. And because of my unique position of having children currently attending Lindbergh schools, I not only see things from a district employee's position, but also from a parent's point of view. And what I see is truly incredible.
I think that that's amazing. We'll go ahead and put a link to it so that everybody can see what exactly they're implementing in their school system and trying to accomplish, because I think that it's inspiring to others. Because
yes, you can do that in your community.
Absolutely. And obviously, I know this person. Erica is a friend of mine, and she's absolutely lovely. And what they're trying to do with their alumni group and all of these programs that they have is incredible. It's just to help as many people as they can in their community. And I think it's so cool that she went to Lindbergh. Her children go to Lindbergh. Her husband went to Lindbergh. She knows this community, right?
Absolutely.
So anyway, I think it's inspiring. I love what she is doing, but more than that, I want to shout out and rave about her overcoming, like, not letting the fact that this is not something she normally does be an obstacle for her. I think it's incredible. It's inspiring. And believe me, there are certain days that I will be thinking about that exact thing and her specifically, because it's incredible to me. Because when I fear something, I'll be honest, sometimes I run away. Or if I'm not going to be the
thing I do,
if I'm not going to be the best at it, I won't do it,
Yes.
So this just feels like a double rave to me. We'll go ahead and post the link so maybe you can get inspired for some, things that you want to implement in your community. I think it's wonderful. Thank you so much for writing in about that. And also big kudos for just doing it, man. Just doing it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And again, for caring enough to do something that I don't know how old her children are and if they're even still in the school system, but regardless, this is something that hopefully people will keep carrying on, and it will be for generations to come. It's not just for the year that your kids are in the school. It's like, please care about the other students and the other people. It's going back to kind of the theme of this whole episode, like seeing the greater picture of our communities.
For sure. Caring about others in your community, not just yourself. I love it. Thank you very much for writing in. And I actually had this conversation with a girlfriend of mine. I hate saying I'm proud of somebody because my own hateful brain tells me you can't take credit for anything they did. They did that on their own. But that's my own messed up way of thinking of it. When I say I'm proud of her for doing that. I mean, like, I admire, like my friend Kate said, if I ever say I'm proud of something you did, it's because I admire what you did. And I want to make that clear too.
Totally.
I admire what you are doing for the Lindbergh community and how it's inspiring other people. And thank you so much for writing in. And we love you. Thank you for all your kind words.
Yes, how lovely. And what an inspiration. And honestly, be proud that you're proud of your friend, because I know what you mean. And I've even had moments where I feel like awkward, or I'm like, well, I'm not their parent. Why am I telling a peer or a coworker or someone that's my age? But you know what? It's exactly like you're saying, and that your friend says to you, admiration, like watching a friend do or accomplish something. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so proud of that.
Yes. Yes. Like, I'm proud of you.
I don't think you have to
taking action, speaking up, whatever it is. I'm not taking credit for what you did. I'm saying, I hope I can be that. I admire it. So anyway, thank you so much.
Totally.
We'll post a link, and congratulations and best of luck on everything.
Yes. Well, you guys, I am very proud to bring you this next rave, because this might be the sauciest rave we've ever had. And
really?
I'm real okay with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't care how cliche this is. And I know we've discussed firemen on this show a lot. Dana's dad was a career fireman.
And I am madly in love with firemen.
One of our favorite fans was a fireman, and we love him. And I hope that we do not sound too trite with what this is dealing with. Okay.
I'm so excited.
Australian Firefighters Annual Calendar. It's getting hot in here.
Oh my, Jessica's hand just flew up to her chest, her neck, like she was clutching her pearls.
Oh, I am. To benefit native animal charities is now on sale. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and give you the link directly to it before I read the article surrounding this. www.australianfirefighterscalendar.com. Yes, it's that simple. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Now, this came to us from the Good News Network.
I love the Good News Network.
I do too. Australian firefighters pose adorable rescued animals for sizzling wildlife charity calendar. Turning up the heat for 2021, 6 new calendars depict brave and incredibly handsome Australian firefighters posing with some of the most adorable animals their country has to offer.
Aww.
It's amazing. What may be the world's most popular calendar, now in its 28th year.
For real?
Guys, is this where Oprah got her inspiration back in the day?
Whoa.
Because she did a whole thing with like a fireman calendar. This year, the hunky heroes have been photographed with heart-melting dogs, cats, koala bears, even kangaroos.
Shut up.
So Jessica, here's a beautiful man.
A picture. Oh my God. With a very chilled out, muscular kangaroo.
Just chilling.
Just hanging out.
Setting out to brighten the doom and gloom of the last 8 months, all proceeds will be donated to the native animal charities that are vital to supporting wildlife. This is especially important because given Australia's catastrophic wildfires in 2019, which resulted in the estimated loss of 1 billion animals. 1 billion from the diverse native wildlife. While the fires may be gone, the devastated bushland has made it impossible for many of the displaced wildlife to return to their natural habitat.
Wow.
One of the centers to benefit is the Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital, where Dr. Stephen Van Mill and his team are building Australia's first mobile wildlife hospital. It's designed to be rushed to wherever the wildlife emergency is. That's amazing. Speaking of creating the Australian Firefighters calendar in a pandemic, calendar director David Rogers explained, coronavirus was never going to stop us from bringing smiles to faces across the world. Amen.
Definitely.
With this year's dog and cat calendars, there's a bit of a twist. As COVID-19 restricted the team's access to many rescue animals, the Aussie public was asked to bring their own rescued furry friends to the photo shoot to help create these calendars.
Come on.
I love it. Funds raised will allow the organization to help less fortunate animals find a new home through rescue organizations like Safe Haven Animal Rescue and All Breeds Canine Rescue. You will see all your favorite Australian firefighters with each variety of animal we could photograph. We've got something for everyone. Okay, this guy
Insert don't worry, Jessica. I pulled it up on my phone. We're good. You don't have to. I'm sorry, but if you love beautiful, white, curly-haired, fluffy horses just smiling and leaning on a super hunky man's shoulder.
What about the porcupine peeking over his back?
I can't. Or the koala that's just like got its paws on that firefighter's chest. Like, there's nothing dirty about these photos. They're honestly like the cutest thing ever.
They're ripped.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're ripped.
You want your firemen to be in good shape. I know.
They have to be, you know. It's not their fault. They're so beautiful to look at.
Now, I don't like to assume. We all know what happens when we assume. However, in case we have some more modest listeners, and I am not shaming you for that, I am slightly disappointed on your behalf because you're missing out. But if you choose, there are different options for the calendar. Okay?
Oh.
There is the firefighters calendar with just firefighters and dogs. There's the firefighters calendar with just them and cats. There's one called Animal Lovers, which you get the koala and the porcupine and the Shetland pony and the kangaroo and God knows what else. There's one that's just animals, no firefighters. Why you would do that is beyond me, but to each his own. But back to my original point, if you prefer them to have their clothing on, they do offer the firefighters calendar hero calendar, which pictures of these heroes, but they are all wearing their shirts.
Okay. Well, I just want to make it clear. It's not like I'm not seeing any Peters or Dongs or
no.
It's just shirtless.
The shirt
with
off.
Suspenders. And then 2 absolutely adorable ducklings on a man's shoulders. Like, how can you be mad at that?
There's a pillowcase option, Dana.
A pillowcase option? What does that mean?
That means that you can have the image I'm showing you printed on a pillowcase.
And sleep with my face on it?
I guess!
Oh my. Oh.
Tell you what, I'm already peeping the greeting cards where you kind of get one of each and then can send some happy joy to friends in the mail.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's done all very cute and tongue-in-cheek. And
it is. And it's
so adorable. And what an amazing way to raise money.
Also, it's the same cost, if not less, than the calendars you can get at the mall or Barnes & Noble or wherever. The calendars are $14.52. I'm always intrigued by that 2 cents. So weird. But maybe that's actually the conversion if you're ordering it in US dollars. But $14.52. From its humble beginnings, the Australian Firefighters Calendar was established in 1993 to support the Children's Hospital Foundation, providing funds for research into childhood burns. Now in its 28th year, the Australian Firefighters Calendar has raised over $3.2 million for various charities.
Wow.
So, again, spruce up your home office. Put it on the back of a closet door, whatever you need to do.
Or hide it from your husband and child and just support some animals.
Get yourself an ink blotter on your desk, and then when Zoom school starts and his work starts, pull out that calendar and make sure you're up to date on your appointments for the year on a daily basis.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
In case I ever have an appointment again. No, for real. What they're doing is incredible.
It's great.
Yeah. Adorable rescued animals for sizzling wildlife charity. I love it. That's really, really cool. I love and how much they've given back. That's insane. And those statistics also are devastating. Which It's just, again, like, we're not at the center of the picture, man. We got to take care of our planet and all of us that are inhabiting our wonderful Mother Earth. Jessica.
Dana.
I think that's our show.
I think it is.
Would you like to tell people how they can get a hold of us?
Sure. You guys, keep this stuff coming. We were thrilled. This was just one of those weeks where we were jam-packed with messages from you. We love it. We love it. We love it. We thank you profusely. Please find us on Instagram and Facebook at the Rants and Raves Podcast, on Twitter at raves_the. You can email us at the Rants and Raves Podcast at gmail.com. And you can hit our contact button on our website, www.therantsandраvespodcast.com. Please like, subscribe, listen, share, drop a line, drop a review, whatever suits your fancy.
Yes, because the more people that find us, the more people are going to hear about all these amazing things.
Yes.
You know, Jessica and I get nothing but joy from this. Like, we're not making money off of it. We're taking time out of our personal schedules because this is something we're passionate about, and we love doing it, and we love the relationships that we have cultivated through this project. And
absolutely,
it's amazing. So thank you. Thank you. Please share us. I usually like to end the show with things that I'm watching or interested in. I like to leave you with a weekly point to ponder. And usually I bring something a little offbeat or silly or funny. But I'll be honest, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this week by saying, for real, no joke, I think the theme of this show is, hey guys, let's start thinking about others and how our behaviors are impacting the world at large, what we're teaching our children. Is it that hard to wear a mask? No. Okay. And that's not my whole point. I'm just saying in general, let's all try to be mindful. None of us are perfect, but we can always learn and grow. Absolutely. So maybe just make that your goal this week. Like, what do I not understand? What's something that gets under my skin and I maybe don't have enough information? Learn something new this week. Broaden your horizons a little bit. And maybe you will find you still don't agree with things, but at least you can say, I listened and I heard, and I can see where you're coming from and why it means that to you.
Yes.
I really mean it. We can be better as human beings, not Americans, non-Americans, white, black. I'm saying for real, as human beings, we can do better. Let's all try to do better this week. And I'm including myself in that for sure.
Thank you for that, Dana. Seriously, I'm not just saying this, but I always have said from the beginning, we don't know every person that listens to us, obviously, but the people that we have encountered and had communication with, to those of you who we did not know prior to us starting this podcast, I tell people this all the time, and I'm like, I don't want to jinx myself ever by saying this, but we have not once met hate, ugliness, any kind of vile behavior. I'm knocking on wood with both fists as I say that, but no joke. It has been a pleasure, and I don't know what we did to be so lucky to deserve that, because I really thought by now and this far in, like, oh, there's going to be some people that have a lot to say, which I'm certainly not only commending people for agreeing with us. I'm just saying it's lovely to know, like, hey, we're obviously speaking to people who kind of have a collective sense of doing better in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I think our goal was to try and learn more and do better and put it out into the world. And everything we've gotten back has just been love and kindness.
Unreal. Exactly.
And for real, Jessica, I know we say it, you're probably sick of hearing us say it ad nauseum, but like Jessica and I just say to each other at some point every week, how are we so lucky?
Yes.
And that's because of you guys. If you're hearing this, it's because of you. And we appreciate it immensely. And we love you all, whether we agree with people or not. We also, like we said, we'll have a mindfulness corner. We're open. We want to learn.
Yes.
And we want to do better. Jessica,
absolutely. Dana,
I enjoy you.
I enjoy you immensely.
And I hope that everybody has a great week. And we'll be back again next Tuesday.
Indeed.
Bye.
Bye.